I came to Bank of Saint Lucia in October of 2020, so pretty much in the middle of COVID. And immediately, the bank was exposed in its ability to deliver service to customers because we were restricted by the physicality of our locations. And at that time, we committed, we recognized and committed that once we come out of this, we needed a stronger and balanced network between the ability to connect customers digitally and the physical location. So we committed to a really strong strategic vision going forward to build Bank of Saint Lucia as a very capable multi-service institution that can provide can sustain services to our companies. And we have to our customers. We have 80,000 customers across Saint Lucia, and during COVID, we were only able to survive because we were able to act very quickly and stand up a digital branch where we put resources in, added telephone capability, very rudimentary account opening services that we stood up over the course of 6 months. But that pretty much helped us to anchor services to customers who could no longer come into the physical location. So right after COVID, we not only extended that, but we committed to a digital transformation roadmap that will give Bank of Saint Lucia a full capacity digital bank, and that will aim to one, divert some services away from the physical location, but to build capacity that our customers could interact with us at any point in time at their convenience and find the same quality services that they found within the branch network. And that has been a big part of our vision going forward. We, like many I would say indigenous banks, we implemented pieces of technology to respond to customers' needs. So everybody else had ATMs, so we recognized that we needed ATMs. Every other bank around had the website and web and mobile banking, so we did that. And ultimately, in the past, we had converted from a manual ledger system to an accounting system using a company out of the US. But the interesting thing is that the connectivity and sharing of information between those systems was quite disparate. It didn't exist. So we found ourselves in a situation where we literally had hodgepodge pieces of technology without a real plan behind how do we want to interact with our customers going forward, what products and services we want to deliver, and how we will connect the experience for customers to make it consistent across all those touch points. Well, our journey with Ksquare began when we decided to tackle as a key thing for us our loan origination system, and we chose Salesforce as a vendor, and then were recommended to Ksquare as a Salesforce implementer, which is how we came to know Salesforce. And quite frankly, in the beginning, it was a bit of a struggle for us because coming out of a situation where all people internally only understood a process one way, it was very difficult for us to convey business requirements to an implementer that was building a system for us from scratch. So it took a lot of movement and discussion and dialogue and working things out for us to get to the point where we fully understood what we were able to fully communicate what we required, and Ksquare was able to bring the elements of a modern loan origination system to the bank. What we admired in that process is the extent to which Ksquare stood behind their commitment, and I think they recognized at the point that dealing with banks in a third world environment where you're dealing with small indigenous banks was quite different to dealing with big banks that had tremendous amount of scale and had central capacity to be able to have the expertise to adequately define business requirements. But they stayed with it. They provided resources. They supported us, across many different boundaries to see us through the point where we got to getting this system, state-of-the-art system, up and ready and launched. And I think during that process, we understood the depth of the company because, quite frankly, we deal primarily with companies who want to sell us something. In this case, Ksquare was an implementer, and they were taking time to understand the technology in the bank and how best they can help us to meet our requirements. So coming out of that, it was clear to us that this company had tremendous amount of depth. And when we started to talk to them coming to the end of that process about the things that we wanted to do, we realized that they really bring a level of understanding of technology operations that with their understanding of our business could really help us to develop a roadmap for the bank and to bring a real sense of professionalism to the plan that we needed to put into place to get where we wanted to go. And I mean, and that really brought us, very close to Ksquare. So now we have a state of the art loan origination system, which we're now processing all of our loans on, and as the system beds down, it's getting a whole lot more efficient. And I think what this is bringing to us is a level of CRM capability that we didn't have before. So we are gathering and seeing the benefit of having data on our customers that is going to help us to understand the dynamics of the relationship that they have with the bank. And now we have added Marketing Cloud, which is going to help us to take information on existing customers and have a database on which we can manage that and share that information among the people who need to have access to those customers. And if you understand where we're coming from, we were coming from a very manual environment where we had to interrogate our system. Somebody literally had to search through to find commonalities in a customer database that we can then put into an Excel file and sell to somebody else. And of course, no connectivity in follow-up. So if the lead gets passed from one person to the next, you have no way of knowing whether that person has updated the database in the way that you want. But now we have leads management, we have Marketing Cloud for our campaigns. Every system speaks to each other and shares information. So at any point in the network where people touch that process to offer a product or do a follow-up with a customer, there is a natural footprint that we can connect to. So it really gives us an insight that we didn't have before. And I mean, we're now about to deploy our recoveries system, which is going to give us the same capacity, moving away from manual to the ability to automate calls to customers, to automate follow-up, to have easy access to information. So any recoveries officer or the manager can pick up, go into the system and they can see exactly what the status is of a customer's relationship with the bank. I mean, we also are in the middle of upgrading I told you about our digital branch when we started earlier in the game. And the digital branch that we created at the point was literally a portal to manual. So the customers saw that they were completing electronic information via a portal, but somebody was literally sitting in the back in our offices, pulling that information down, going through it manually, doing identification using social media, FaceTime, just because of the need. But now Ksquare is helping us to build a full web-based portal that's going to connect everything from front to back, have full interface into our accounting system, so that data can be automatically uploaded once it's verified. It's going to have, the ability to identify customers using biometrics. So really state of the art, and I think that is what Ksquare is bringing to Bank of Saint Lucia. Well, that's where I think Ksquare has a real advantage, and maybe it is strong connection to their roots in India as a colonial third world country, but having moved so far ahead in the level of development of people and resources, and so many technology companies that are now based out of India, Ksquare has the ability to bring resources together that are not accessible to us in the Caribbean on the scale that we want, that we need to see. So we can get access to those resources, and Ksquare has taken the time coming from that environment to really understand what it's like doing banking in the Caribbean, and not just banking, but banking with indigenous banks, where there tends to be it's a small environment. So although we are the largest bank and we have 450 odd people, in the scheme of things, we are quite small, and there's the tendency for internal myopia to set in, where people, they see world-class systems, but they don't fully understand what it takes to get from where we are to there. And Ksquare does an amazing job in helping us to see what the requirements would be for us and how we can scale that to get from the place that we are to where we want to go strategically. It's their commitment to support, and Ksquare is not only they're so much more than a Salesforce implementer. They're a technology company with extensive resources, and I think what has happened to I'm also president of the ECCU Bankers Association, so I'm very connected to the challenges that small and medium-sized enterprises across the Caribbean face. And we as a result of cost constraints, we tend to end up with very small companies that are selling us technology because the price is better. And inevitably, when you get to the point where you require the level of support services and change and upgrades that you want, you realize that the company is just a team of 4 people or 6 or 8 people sitting behind trying to do these upgrades for you, and they take on several banks, and you end up struggling to get technology to be adapted as the world changes and as things move along. And I think what Ksquare brings to us is scale and helping us to assess vendors that we might do business with, to say, look, this person may not be able to give you the support that I want. So they really bring a sense of program management in addition to helping us to assess and develop technology for our purpose. So that's what we get from this Ksquare partnership, which we haven't been exposed to anywhere else. I will very readily, and I have recommended Ksquare to several partners. Ksquare is now doing work with several banks across the ECCU on the back of the Bank of Saint Lucia recommendations, and we continue to recommend Ksquare. As I said, the key thing is helping banks right up front to fully understand what we need and to fully understand the technology that will help us to match that, and how we need to look at all of our technology stack and infrastructure to figure out how the pieces that we are putting in are going to help us to achieve connectivity and transformation going forward, and finding the skill set on a consistent basis to enable us to do that is not there. And a company like Ksquare, they can pretty much provide especially with the level of understanding that they have of Bank of Saint Lucia as the largest bank in the ECCU. It puts them in a really good position to go to any other bank across the ECCU and the region, and to provide them with the kind of support that would help them to modernize and make their infrastructure market ready. And for us, look, we believe that we're not just trying to, of course we want to be successful, but we believe that when the pie gets better, when banking gets better, when there's more trust in the system, we will all benefit. And Ksquare is a critical part of Bank of Saint Lucia's journey in that regard.